Chair, I would like to welcome and introduce Associate Professor Dr. Andrew Shmulo.
Good morning, Chair. In your annual report you said, and I quote, "We are proud of the returns we've delivered for our superannuation members," end quote. Notwithstanding the fact that you have hundreds of funds under management, APRA's recent heat map revealed that 36 of 37 failed and chronically underperforming funds were AMP subsidiaries. This staggering succession of failures has caused detriment to 17,000 members with $1.8 billion in retirement savings. My question, and please focus on the question, how can you claim the barest measure of credibility talking about being in the top quartile when in fact an independent, arm's-length government regulator has identified your funds as the dogs of the industry? That's my first question.
Well, I'll deal with that question first. So the majority of our funds are held, or our members' funds are held in other accounts. So our major superannuation account, our MySuper account, returned 15% for the year and put it amongst the top performing funds. In respect of the funds that you were talking about in the annual performance test, those results reflect a very small cohort of funds, and in fact the majority of superannuation funds are not part of that test. It is confined to a very few number of funds, mainly held by ourselves and Insignia. And so when you have a flawed cohort to deal with, you get flawed results. And if most of the funds come from two providers and are only a small portion of those funds that are being tested, you end up in the situation you do. At some point, Insignia may well be out of that, and we'll be testing a series of funds against ourselves, and of course half of them will fail and half of them won't. Now, the real question in all of that is what's in the members' best interests in terms of the outcome of that test and what has to happen. And it's not crystal clear that closing those funds and moving those people because of tax reasons and other reasons are in the members' best interests. So I'd implore you to go and have a look at that test, have a look at the cohort, have a look at who qualifies to be in that, compare that to the total universe of funds available, and you might see that it's not statistically valid.
Right, so it's APRA's fault.
Exactly. Well, actually, it's the fault of the people that wrote that legislation. APRA just have the unfortunate task of administering it.
Can you name one instance where you pushed for executive accountability or challenged board consensus to protect shareholder interests, or are there no such examples during your time?
Oh, there's certainly plenty of examples of that. Naturally, whatever goes on in the boardroom stays in the boardroom, but if you read our report, our sustainability report and our remuneration report, you'll see those instances have occurred, and they will continue to occur because it's incumbent upon us as a board under legislation and prudential obligations to make sure that happens.